Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 24 of the On the Lolo podcast. I am so excited about today's episode because literally last night I could have gotten up and recorded this. I was just like, I was feeling very inspired to talk to you guys. And I feel like the past week or 2 weeks, I've felt very like mentally icky. I don't know about you guys. I've posted some stories on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on there, I swear I post a lot. So I highly suggest you go follow me on Instagram. But I was just literally posting on how I feel low key depressed, but I know it's not. But it's just like there's waves sometimes, and I'm just like, what is this? So I just haven't had as much energy, haven't been feeling as creative or inspired. It feels like a funk, and it's annoying because when these waves hit, they hit. And I don't know if it's like seasonal depression because to be honest, I used to love winter when I was a kid because I isolated the shit out of myself because I was a chubby kid and I was very insecure and I didn't like myself. And I had this deeply rooted belief that I was not good enough to be seen by the world until I was slim enough, pretty enough. And I was fucking 9 years old. Like, who thinks of this shit at 9 years old? But anyways, so I loved isolating myself. So whenever it rained or it snowed or it wasn't nice out, I felt like, yes, like I can finally stay inside and not feel bad about it. Because when I was a teenager, even as a kid, I used to spend my summers inside. And right now, as much as an adult, I can say like I regret it. I know that that was like what I had to do at that time in my life, and I wanted to feel safe in my home. But now, as an adult, I feel like lately I've been getting hit in the face with so many unhealthy behaviors that like I need to let go of now. So the isolation, the I don't know. I feel like I'm low key a control freak, and I'm only realizing now to what extent. And I think that right now we are all being presented with the opportunity to let go of things that aren't serving our highest evolution or embodiment, right? Because I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, like I want to shift my finances, my relationships, I want to live my dream life. But that also means you're going to have to let go of everything you've known that has kept you safe and quote unquote that you've survived with all this time. Yeah, it's winter and it's snowing. And it's like, I know it's hibernation mode. And in the cycle of nature, it is not the phase to produce and create. But then it's like, I can still create, but do I want to? Do I feel inspired to? So yeah, today's episode will just be about feeling your shit and your thoughts and like honestly, you guys, I'm not even kidding. I feel like I have this big ass shovel with me and I just have to dig right now. And I've been feeling inspired to create some things, but I'm just like, it's so funny because in the lows, in those shitty days where you feel like you would literally want to exit your body, that's where I get inspired. So I'm like, "Oh my god." Like the other day, it was just like I woke up and I was pissed and then I started vacuuming the house and it made me even more pissed. And then I was like, "What is going on?" And I just felt so tired. And I was like, "What the fuck? I just woke up. I just got up, you know?" And the entire day I just felt like tired and just like not mentally there. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to lay in bed. I'm just going to do nothing. But then after like 2 hours of being in bed, I was like, damn, this is getting boring. I'm going to have to do something or else I'm literally going to pull my fucking hair out. I was supposed to work out. Like I wanted to work out that day. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Like I listened to the voice in my head that was like, no, you should just take it easy. And like you feel like ass right now. And then I was like, I feel like such shit. Like I need to do something to make myself feel better because right now I'm just rotting and wilting and like it's getting worse by the minute. So I went in my garage. Thank God for my home gym, honestly, because I would have never gone to an actual public gym if like I had been feeling like that that day. I am honestly so grateful for my garage in my home gym because I cannot stand a public gym anymore for some reason. Like, if I absolutely had to go and that was the only way I could work out, like, I would do it. But I just feel like the last times that I went, I could literally hear everybody's ego. And it's just like the gym is such a matrix thing. Like, we go there because we're either out of shape, we don't love ourselves, and we're just trying so hard to love ourselves and like love our bodies. And it's great because sometimes our ego brings us to do things that are actually good for us, but like, there's a lot of guys who, if they're not in shape, then they go to the gym because they want to like get a partner, which is totally fine. But like that's an egoic thing. Like if they saw their value, if they loved themselves, if they tended to their unworthiness wounds, a lot more attractive. And the body would follow anyway. My point is the public gym feels like a very noisy place, like mentally. Cause when I go there, I have to have a nice outfit. I have to look good. I can't just like when I go in my garage, I literally train in my fucking pajamas and I love it because if you guys didn't know this about me, a few years ago, I had my gym rat phase where I was like literally buying so much workout clothes and like supplements that are full of shit, but I didn't know at the time. And like it was a gym phase. And I'm totally grateful for that phase of my life because it taught me a lot about myself that I needed to learn, obviously. But it's just like I love going to the gym in a nice outfit, but like I don't give a shit about that anymore. So it's like it's hard to like mesh the two because what resonates with me is wearing what feels comfortable to my body and just moving my body. But 3 years ago it was like I need to look good, like I was still single, right? So it's like you're trying to attract a partner and like all of this noise, so much noise, like I want to please others. I want to like and I'm just realizing a lot about myself because like social media is a full-time job for me. Like creating content is a full-time job for me. And I feel like it's impossible to not have external dialogue come into your mind when you're on social media. Like you don't even have to be posting stuff, but just consuming so much content, it just adds so many additional thoughts in your head and it's so much noise. And like I've been getting caught up in it and I just don't know where to throw myself anymore because I'm like, okay, well, this is what my life should look like and this is what my morning routine should look like. And it's just as I was meditating this morning, something that came up to me was there is no ideal morning routine. There is no ideal way to lose weight. Is no ideal this. There is only what is ideal for you because this world is like this is how you're going to be successful. This is how you're going to lose the weight. This is how you're going to attract your perfect partner. Aren't we fucking exhausted? Like, first of all, the number one thing I preach is that the how it's gonna happen was never up to you. So the fact that you're like, how can I make this happen? How can I egotistically use my mind, my very limited mind, and make this happen for myself because I don't feel good with what I have right now and I really wanna get out of where I am right now? Literally, when you are chasing something so deeply, you have so much resistance towards it because it's like, I absolutely need this thing, or else this is what it means about my life. This is what it means about myself. And like, I'm a piece of shit, or whatever it is. So for me, for a long time, I realized that, when I was in high school, I feel like I was always different and I did have friends. But in my third year of high school, there was like a falling out that happened, and I lost all of my friends. And obviously, it tended to my abandonment, rejection, and loneliness wounds. I feel like lately they've been presenting themselves to me. Hi, nice to meet you. Haven't seen you in a while. So I just realized that being in high school and losing my friends and especially quitting high school, like I remember the last day that I stepped foot into that high school. I was going there to empty my locker and I was so fucking excited. I was like, the school year just started. I'm dipping, like, bye, like, do what you want. And everyone was looking at me. Like I had a few friends that were just like helping me. They were friends that I had met like a couple weeks prior, but everyone from like my past friendships were looking at me like what is she doing? And I just felt so my ego loved it. My ego ate it. Like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Like, I'm so hot and stuff. But that's so much ego, right? And I think that I had to feel that way to not feel honestly, like, I think that as much as, like, I was genuinely comfortable with quitting high school and that there's nothing more I wanted in the world, I think that it tended to my loneliness because, like, I'm thinking out loud right here because 'cause we're gonna get to the bottom of this, but lately, I am realizing how fucking lonely I have been my entire life. And I'm sharing this so openly and vulnerably with you because I truly feel that we share so many similar experiences. But if no one has the fucking balls to talk about it, if I don't talk to you how I've experienced loneliness and I've realized this and this and this, how can you realize it for yourself? It might take you a bit more time, but hey, I've realized this. I'm going to share it with you, and maybe it's going to serve you in such a beautiful way. So, that is my genuine intention in sharing this. It's not like a pity party situation, not at all. I just genuinely love self-awareness, and I think it is so important to be a self-aware human being, or else what are you doing? Literally. So, just realizing that I have been lonely my entire life, and I think I put myself like a protective, like, not cape, but like a cocoon of like I love being by myself. I don't need anybody. Like I literally love spending time by myself and blah blah blah, which is true. But recently what I've been like feeling is I was just a little girl who wanted to play and have friends. And like the best visual I can give you for this is like I'm that little girl that shows up at the playground and I'm super excited and I start playing with everyone. But then someone says, "Ew, Laura stinks." And then everyone just like runs away from me. I feel like that's the way my inner child has felt towards friendships and even relationships. It feels like I have never been good enough. I have been too much this. It's just, I think that it's really hard to grow up in this reality because you want to fit in so bad. Like you want to be loved, right? You want to have friends and you want to be invited to the birthday parties and you want to be included. And it's just, I think there's no way around it. Like, no matter how well your parents raise you, and no matter how much they tell you that you're good enough and you're worthy, you will experience rejection and loneliness. Like, that's what sometimes I'm like, shit. I am so excited to have children, but I also know that there are so many things about this life that no matter what I do, no matter how aware I am, no matter how much conscious parenting I do, they will get their cracks eventually because this is the beauty of this physical realm. We are not immune to any of it. We cannot pick, like, this is what I want, this is not what I want. I don't want my kid to feel lonely, but it's fine if they. So I'm just realizing all of this about myself. And I truly think that it is meant to bring me to like a higher understanding of myself. And it feels like stuff I've never realized before, right? Because I had like my spiritual awakening 4 years ago. So like my ego thinks it's hot shit and like it doesn't need to evolve more. And like, yeah, I've uncovered so many things of my past. Yeah, but there's always more. So I'm just realizing that, hey, maybe I had to protect myself from my loneliness to survive so that I wouldn't crumble. Because if I had felt that loneliness, maybe it would have eaten me away and I would have never done what I'm doing today because I've always done everything alone and I've always had friendships, but they've always come and go. And I keep telling myself, well, clearly I am the root of it all because I'm the one who has friendships of people with people that leave. But then it's like, oh, well, my little kid feels like she's not good enough to keep friendships, or like I'm too complicated, or I'm too this, or I'm too. And I think that in the past few days, I've just been feeling my little girl's sadness towards that because all she wanted was to play at the playground with everyone. And they found a reason to block off that playfulness from her. And I'm realizing that I am doing this in so many aspects. If I'm crying, it's because, yo, there's energy trying to leave my body. Just let it happen. Don't be uncomfortable with me crying. It's not a sad thing. We want this to happen. But I don't know, I just feel like, I've protected myself and my inner child for a really long time by saying, "I am so independent, I love being on my own, I love my own company." All of these things are true, but it doesn't remove the fact that, yeah, I might have experienced loneliness to another level that I was never aware of until now. And I'm convinced that we all experience loneliness in this world because I think we're so trained to be like, I want to fit in, right? I want to find my people. I want to find like my posse, my group. And I think when we don't, we think it's our fault. I was having a conversation about this with my older brother the other day, and I was just like, is my point of attraction like not right? Like let's say I want to attract like friends into my life. Well, is it me that I'm still emitting something that is repulsing those people from coming into my life? But I think I'm on a very different path than the norm. And when you think about it, a lot of people only have friends because they're friends from fucking kindergarten or high school, or they're friends because they work at the same place. I have chosen a path that not a lot of people my age are experiencing. And I'm not saying that there aren't any and I'm the only one and I'm so special. Not at all. But it's just like, obviously, the people who are my age who went to my high school, they're probably in school and they're probably all friends because they go to the same school and they probably all go out to the same bars because they're on the same level of consciousness. And it's just, I think it's very easy, especially after you become so self aware and conscious and, It's not even like a spiritual awakening. It's just fucking reconnecting, dude. Like, I hate the label of like, yeah, I'm spiritual. I don't identify as that, but I feel like there's no other way for people to understand. So, like, I say, like, yeah, I consider myself as a spiritual person, which is true, but we all fucking are. But it's just everyone is so disconnected from their inner beings that, oh, look at that spiritual person, such a hippie. No. I just feel like I have built myself a shell because I expect people to reject me. And it's funny because I went to an event with my brother in Texas in December. If you want to hear more about those crazy little adventures, watch my previous podcast episode. But I just noticed myself before going to the event, before meeting anyone, being ready for people to not like me because I'm different, but not in a bad way, just being ready for them to not understand me because, oh, look at what I talk about on social media. A lot of people don't know what the fuck it means. A lot of people are like, "What is she talking about?" So to me, I think that I've wanted to prove people wrong who have made me feel insufficient. And that's what happens with the ego, right? It's like the ego experiences pain and then it builds its walls and then it's like, "Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you." So like all those people in high school that made me feel lesser than, well, they probably all felt lesser than because at fucking 15 years old, I'm pretty convinced you don't know who the shit you are. But I have felt like not good enough or like too much for those friends. So sometimes I catch myself being like, oh, well, I'll show you. Okay. Okay. Hold on. I'll show you means you didn't fully love and accept me because I internally didn't fully and love and accept myself. So you only reflected to me what was already happening within my internal state of being. And because you didn't love and accept me for who I really am, and you rejected me, and you caused me an illusionary wound that was only placed there so I would find my way back within myself. I'm going to show you how fucking amazing I am. And I think that's so ironic how we spend our lives trying to prove someone wrong. That guy that rejected you, oh, I'm gonna prove him. I'm gonna get so fucking hot, he's gonna regret his life. Or that teacher that called you dumb, I'm gonna become so successful that they're gonna rot in their corner. That type of shit. It is always coming from a wounded place. And I think it's so important to acknowledge the part of yourself that feels like that, that feels like I am going to prove myself. Because you know what? These people, they thought I wasn't good enough, and I know I'm good enough. Yeah, right. We all think we're good enough on a fucking surface ass level. Oh, well, do you think you're good enough for this car, this house? Fuck yeah, I deserve just the best. If it's not the best, then fuck out of my way. You probably don't feel safe actually. So I'm just hoping you're receiving this at this time. I am in no way trying to overwhelm you, but it's just like this is what life's really all about. And I'm being so decongested with my shit right now. And I'm so grateful because I'm realizing that there are so many unseen parts of myself who need me right now. And there's no amount of work I could drown myself in. There's no amount of projects I could start that would fulfill me like the fulfillment I feel when I see a wounded aspect of myself. So, this is where I think that doing the inner work is the most beautiful thing you can offer yourself because you're going to free yourself of all the things that are actually keeping you from living the life that you want. But we're so brainwashed and programmed because of matrix programming, thinking, no, 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 I will deal with that once I have achieved those things because that's not my priority right now. My priority is survival and success because I need to prove those people wrong. What would happen if you did the opposite and you tended to those parts of yourself that you have not fully loved and accepted? It is just as simple as feeling their presence within your body because you have been those past versions of yourself. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, your 5-year-old self that felt fucking rejected, you were once them. They're within you. They haven't gone anywhere. What would happen if you felt all of those things instead of like doing the work, external work? What if you did the inner work first? Oh, well, that's a waste of time. Actually, by doing the inner work, you might speed up the external work because you're going to actually become a vibrational match to that. Because abundance is on the same vibration as self-love. I truly believe that people who cannot make money or who are broke do not love themselves unconditionally. And it's not even like you have to love yourself, every aspect of yourself before you can welcome wealth. That's not what it is. But I think that there is so much shit that we resist. And the more you resist it, the more it's going to stay exactly the way it is. So if you don't love the parts of yourself that don't feel good enough to make money, that don't feel good enough to be their own boss, like how the hell are you going to welcome that into your reality? You know what I'm saying? It's just this reality is fucking backwards. Sometimes it's exhausting, but like moments like this where I'm just realizing so much shit about myself, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. So, like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, because I tend to be very not ADHD, but I start somewhere, I take another route, I take a detour, and then I do a U turn and then I go back. It's just, if you've been, oh my God. If you've been listening to my podcast episodes, like, this is just how it works. I get into flow and I go wherever the shit it takes me. Also, I'm trying to stop cursing. I've been getting a lot of comments of like, "Oh my god, I really love your content, but like you curse." So like I don't fuck with it and I'm like, "Well, shit." Because it's like so many people try to tell you who to be, right? Like, "Oh, don't curse. I don't like it. It triggers my ego in a way that I really don't appreciate." Well, shit. Maybe you should go look at that. So, to go back at the beginning, 2 days ago, feeling like shit, not gonna work out. Then I end up convincing myself that if I work out, I'm gonna feel better about it. So I go work out. I am in my luteal phase currently. If you don't know what the luteal phase is, it's about 14. It's just the longest fucking phase of the menstrual cycle. Annoying as shit, literally. And it just means that your body is getting ready to shed the not going to go there. This isn't a science health class, but luteal phase means energy levels go down. It is actually not time to lift heavy weights. Women, if you didn't know, the week before your period, stop lifting fucking heavy because honestly, I know it's very hard egotistically because, like I said, when I had my gym rat phase, I would train like a man, exactly the same every single week. Even when I was on my period, I lifted so heavy. And to right now, to this day, I look at the videos and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? I would never do that. When I'm on my period now, I swear I take it so easy. I technically should go on more walks. So, like, that's something I could work on. But my point is, before your period, you should not lift heavy because you're not even releasing estrogen, and estrogen builds muscle, if I'm correct. Don't quote me on that. I am not a professional, but it's just like if you know you're not building muscle, and the point is to just move your body in a way that is not burning out your body while it's preparing for the period, like, damn. So, all this to say, I was like, oh, there's no point in working out if I can't lift heavy. I'm not even going to build muscle. So for me, it's been a lot of undoing of these egotistical patterns, right? Like I'm only going to train to get results. Bitch, you're designed to move. Your body is designed for movement. But like to me, walking or stretching doesn't feel like exercise because it's too low impact. But I realized that it would probably be very beneficial for my nervous system if I just took it fucking easy and like slower. But it's like we're so caught up in the fast pace and the hard, going hard, hustle, work hard that it's like it's a whole process and a half to undo those teachings within our minds. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go work out. I'm going to train my glutes, but I'm not going to lift heavy. I'm going to use some weight, but very minimal weight. And I was doing very slow and controlled movements. I was very connected with my body. And in between my sets where I was doing the exercises, I was dancing a little bit. And I felt in kind of a sad mood, right? I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling sad, I want to bring it out. So I put music that just like matches my state of being. So I was playing songs that were making me feel very emotional. And then boom, what do you know? I just started crying. I just started crying and I looked at myself in the mirror and then I closed my eyes and I literally felt like I was transported back into my body of my little 6-year-old self. Like I could literally feel her. And I was like, what the fuck? And I just felt how sad and lonely she was. I just felt how she wanted to have friends so bad, but it's like they never liked her. There was always another friend that they liked more. And what about me? This abandonment, right? It's like I experienced this dynamic so many times in my life where I am in a fucking trio. If you guys can relate on this, please let me know in the comments if you're watching this on a platform that has comment sections. But I've always experienced being in a friend trio where I'm always the one that's left out or I'm not the favorite one. There's the two who are fucking lottie dottie dying together, hopping through the fields of flowers, and I'm just like, fuck, wait for me, guys, or and I think that that really fucked me up because it happened so many times in my life. And my first ever best friend, I met her when I was like 3 or 4 years old, okay? And we were best friends. We were tied at the hip. I absolutely loved her to the point where I still have dreams about her because, mind you, your subconscious mind is formed from 0 to 7 years old, 7 to 8 years old. And she was my best friend for that time of my life. So my subconscious is like stuck on that channel of her. And I realized that I had to go back and nurture the rejection I felt from her because I'm just going to give you a little background so you're not too confused. I was born in Florida, but my parents are from Quebec, Canada. So, um, we lived in Quebec, Canada when I was born, but we were kind of going back and forth between Florida and Canada. Then, when I was 5 years old, my parents said, "We're going to move to Florida full time." What do you think that meant? That meant I lost my best friend. I lost her because she started school at a different school. I had to go to school in Florida. And mind you, I didn't speak a word of English. I'm going to share something with you that maybe will help you because when me and my brother identified this, we were like, holy shit. So I only spoke French when I was a child. And then my parents sent me to a school in Florida where I had to learn English. And I didn't understand English. Mind you, I know that it's the best time for your child to absorb a language between 0 and 7 years old because their brain is in absolute sponge mode. So I'm very grateful that they did. I'm so grateful I can speak perfect English because sometimes people are like, "Oh my god, I don't even know that like you're from Canada. I can't even read your accent." Yeah, because I fucking learned English in the States. It's a different story. But even if I'm super grateful that I learned this beautiful language, this universal language, I would be fucked if I didn't know how to speak English. I still went through trauma because I remember those first days. I just remember one day. It's so crazy how the subconscious absorbs these images. I just remember being in that kindergarten classroom and I had the biggest abandonment like fears with my parents. Like they could not leave me at a sleepover, they could not leave me somewhere, they had to be with me. And they were leaving me at school. And I was just like that was my worst fucking nightmare. Like please don't leave me here. I just remember being there. It's the first day, and the assistant principal is trying to talk to me in French. And I remember just looking at her and thinking, like, what an idiot. Because it's like she sounded so dumb, right? And she was just trying to make me feel seen, but I was just freaking out because I knew that in a few minutes my parents were going to leave. A trauma that came with that experience was I didn't feel understood. I expect people to not understand me because at a certain point in time, they literally didn't understand me because I spoke a different language. So I think this is so interesting how uh, a wound of being misunderstood translates in, well, I learned a language when I was very young and people didn't understand me for a while until I started catching up on the language. So it's just like, that's crazy. But, anyways, going back to my friend and stuff. So she started kindergarten in Quebec and I started kindergarten in Florida. And I never really made another best friend like her. Like she was my golden ticket. Like I was like I literally loved her so much. Like she was my best friend. But then when I came back, she obviously made friends. Like she went to school here and she was like such a social butterfly and she made friends with everyone. But when I was in Florida, I couldn't wait to just come back and see her, right? So I think that's where I felt my first little rejections and abandonments like, oh, she found someone better than me, right? And then I remember we eventually moved back to Quebec, like 3 years later. So I ended up going to the same school as her, but she had already made her friends. So I had to make new friends. I don't j I maybe I should meditate on that because I don't really remember that period of my life because I remember making one friend. Like, isn't it crazy how I had one friend. Let's say her name was Deborah. Her name was not Deborah. I don't know why Deborah came to me. Whatever. Let's say her name was Deborah. I was so in love with Deborah. I loved her with all my heart. She was my best friend. She makes other friends because I moved. I can't blame her. Like, I what? She was just supposed to not make friends and just wait for me to come back? Like, we didn't even know we were going to come back. But obviously, when you're 5 years old, you lack the understanding of the reality of the situation. that now as an adult I can understand, but back then it's like, well, my best friend ditched me, what a bitch. So, Deborah, she makes all these friends. Then I moved back here from Florida and Deborah already has her friends. So we were friends, but like we didn't become best friends again. Like, yeah, we would hang out, but I think it took a year before we actually like started being close friends again. I don't know. Anyways, all this to say, heartbreak, rejection. And I just remember the whole point of me saying this actually was being in friendship trios. She had made another friend. Her name was Lucy. I don't know where I'm getting these names. Deborah and Lucy became very close. And when I came back, I did not like Lucy. I really tried to like Lucy, but I think I had jealousy within myself of like, you stole my friend from me. I think I had jealousy that Deborah liked her better than me. And whenever we would hang out, the three of us together, I felt so outcasted. I felt like just a fly on the wall, just watching them have fun together. So I think that was really hard for me because I still feel this way as an adult. I expect people to not understand me. I expect people to have fun together, and I'm kind of just watching them in the background because, like, I'm not on their vibe. I have not been on the same vibe as everyone, mostly for my entire life because I feel like I think differently. I feel like obviously, I don't know if it's like because it's a different level of I don't know what it is, but it's just I've always felt different. And obviously this is gonna happen, right? It's very normal, especially with the whole like spiritual awakening and like I literally talk about the matrix. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No shit, I feel different. But it's just I felt like I was saying, that deep desire, you just want to fit in and be loved for who you are, but they don't fucking understand it. It's like you're from a different planet. And you take that as rejection, you take that as like a little crack within your heart and you make it mean something about yourself when in reality it just means that well, yeah, you might be different, but it doesn't mean you're unlovable. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're weird or stupid or too much or too loud. And I think that that's what we make it mean. We make it mean, well, if the people on the external don't love me, that must mean it's true. So I'm just going to accept my fate of not being loved. Oh my God, I can't. So I worked out. I was crying. I released it, which felt good because I honestly believe working out in my garage is so therapeutic for me. I highly suggest it. If you can, if you have a house, if there's a room that you could turn into a gym, I suggest it so much because that would have never happened in a public gym. Just start crying and listening to sad songs and singing and dancing and rocking myself. Are you fucking nuts? They would have locked me up. I feel like when I go to a public gym, it's very egotistical, but I feel like when I go into my garage, that is where there's so much shit that comes up for me because I am alone. It is me time. And quite literally, when you work out, you are moving the stagnant energy within your body, right? Your energetic body is moving, you're moving your muscles, your nervous system, everything. I truly feel that this brings out so many things to the surface that could not be brought out just through meditation. Meditation is amazing because it means the energy stops moving. So there's time for it to bubble up. But when you're working out, there's like, I feel like there's constipated energy that just like is like, oh my God, it's time. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me. Anyways, that's what I've learned from myself. So I love going in my garage because sometimes it's like, oh my God, I'm just releasing so much shit. Thank you. I ended up feeling better for working out, and I was super grateful that I did because I was feeling like ass that entire day. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like right now there's a lack of self love that is present because I feel like I was welcoming past versions of myself who didn't feel loved. And I realized that at that moment in time where I was feeling that version who didn't feel loved, my only responsibility was to up the self love. So I was like, how can I take care of myself right now in ways that would make my inner child feel so acknowledged? So I went in the shower. I took a long shower. I exfoliated. I did a face mask. I shaved my legs, all of these things, right? I think as a woman, self care is more like taking care of your body and your hygiene and like things that make you feel good. I think it might be different for men, but I know that like men could also exfoliate if they wanted to. I don't think they give a shit as much, but you could if you wanted. So I was in the shower and I saw a thing that said, no, hold on, backtrack, not at all. I had seen a thing previously that says if you're vacuuming super fucking fast and hard and just really intense, your nervous system is dysregulated. If you're brushing your teeth to the point where your fucking toothbrush could break, your nervous system is dysregulated. And I tend to be like very intense to when I very intense when I do things. I don't know why. I truly believe I have trauma in my jaw and I don't know what to do to release it. I definitely should look into it. I think I've said this on a podcast before actually. But I was just exfoliating with like my exfoliating mitt and I was going so fucking hard at it. I was like scrubbing the shit out of my body. I was like, "Get it off." And then I don't know why, a thought that popped into my head was if I was bathing my baby right now and I was scrubbing their body like that, they would probably fucking cry like, "What is this bitch doing?" I realized, okay, so if I had a baby and I was giving them a bath, I would probably be so soft and gentle and kind with them. So why am I not doing that for myself? I want you to realize that we are all just wounded little babies who need to be taken care of and loved. But that will never happen from the people who you thought it was going to come from, like your parents or your caregivers. It has to come from you. So I slowed down my pace and I was literally just exfoliating gently and slowly. And I felt so comforted. I felt like, wow, I could feel my little child inside being like, wow, she's actually taking care of me. Wow, thanks. This is great. So I did a bunch of like self-care things. I did myself like a lymphatic drainage massage and I closed my eyes and I was really like appreciating the structure of my face and I was just like feeling my presence. So I think that those are micro things that you can do to make yourself feel better. Let's say in like a depressive episode. It doesn't last very long. I've been depressed before, like when I was 18, and that fucking sucked balls. But now I have too much awareness to let it happen and just stagnate. I will if that's what needs to happen. But I realized that there are tools available to me. And yesterday I also woke up and I was feeling a bit chaotic, but I 4 years ago, I used to meditate 1 hour every single day, and I stopped doing that when I got in a relationship, and I blame it on the relationship, but it's honestly the blame is on me because I really made an effort to prioritize it, but then when I would wake up with him, it would be like, "Oh my god, let's go get a coffee or let's do something," you know? So I kind of unlearned my meditation practice in the morning and I have felt myself more anxious when I wake up and my brain just goes like, "No, no, no, we don't have time for this." And this is literally what I told people like 4 years ago, like, "Yeah, you should meditate. Your brain's gonna tell you don't have time for it, but it's the best thing." So I told myself, "You know what? Like, this is something that brought me so much peace and that feels so good to me." Because I don't know about you, but I wake up in the morning and my heart is just going off. And like, I just feel anxiety, like, okay, the day is starting. Like, let's do the first thing and this and this and this and this. And whoa, 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 whoa. Like, to be fair, my morning routine is very slow. It takes a long fucking time because, oh, I'm going to take this drink. I'm going to go on my vibration plate for circulation. I'm going to do this, this, this. There's so many elements, right? The first elements should be to fucking ground yourself and bring your mind to the present fucking moment because it's going to set out your entire day. So, yesterday I meditated a little bit because I had an appointment, so I couldn't meditate as long as I wanted to. But this morning I meditated for an hour and I'm very grateful that I did. I plan on doing it every day if I can, at least 30 minutes, going back to that because I know that it would probably do me a lot of good. So if I'm feeling like shit, what could I do to maybe not feel like shit? There are always things that can be done, right? So an hour, and it's funny because meditating for an hour, I find personally the first half is so easy. There's people I know that it's like, fuck, I don't want to sit here, blah, blah, blah. And then they end up calming down. Me, I'm super calm. I'm chilling. I'm like, wow, this is great. But then, like, I start thinking, I'm like, "Oh my god, is it almost over?" I'm sure the time is almost gonna ringer because I put a timer on, right? I don't just, like, wait. Because if you wait, then, like, you could meditate 5 minutes or 45, whatever. You need to put a timer on. So I put a timer on for an hour, and I was just like, "Damn, it's been a while. Do you think it's gonna end soon?" And then that makes the frustration within my body bubble up because I'm like, fuck, is this over? I want this to be over. And then just feeling that impatience, I know does wonders because I've become more impatient than I ever was. It's like when I go driving, I feel like people drive like fucking turtles. I'm like, what the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm going to try to tone down the cursing. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself now. But when I'm driving, I feel like people go so slow. And it's like I'm in a hurry and I have to remind myself that I'm actually not in a hurry. But I just feel people could drive a lot more efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so yesterday, again, I didn't feel too mentally hot, right? I was just like, ugh. But then I was like, what could I do today that would excite me, that wouldn't be too demanding, but would still feel fulfilling to me? I got a coffee at Starbucks. If you want to get a coffee, my order every single time is a large cold brew, one pump of vanilla syrup with the salted caramel cold foam on top. That is what I get every day. And it makes me so happy. Like, there's for sure something in there. I know for sure. But it's like, I cannot even explain to you the simple pleasure and joy that that coffee brings me. So I don't plan on stopping it anytime soon. And if you think I need to justify myself for that, please, this is not the time and place. People are always telling me, "Oh my god, you should really stop doing this." I'm like, "Why don't you stay in your lane and you focus on that all that energy you're trying to change me with, do it for you." It's just like shit, man. So anyways, I just want to tell you that right now if you're feeling a bit off and low energy and like you would want to be the thriving, energetic, vibrant version of yourself, but right now that doesn't seem to be the season. What can you do, even if you don't feel like it? Like, as much as I'll tell you I don't feel like meditating, it's like I'm at that point where I know that not meditating doesn't feel any better. So maybe by meditating, I will do myself a beautiful favor and actually feel a little bit like tiny microscopically better. And that's good enough for me. So even yesterday, getting that coffee, I went to go sit at Starbucks and I worked on a few things, but I didn't say, like, oh my God, I really need to work on this. I was like, you know what? What's my highest excitement today? What do I want to look and check out today? That's what I did. I didn't feel like working out. I felt too tired because I was making it serious. Like, oh my God, I need to work out. No, let's go have fun. Let's go shake it off a little bit. And yesterday I had such a fun workout because I played songs from my childhood and I was dancing and I was literally shaking it out. Like, I just was shaking, which is really good for releasing that trauma and that stuck energy. I was just shaking my arms and just letting it out. And it was a good time. So I know that right now it might not be the most easy time to navigate because I 100% guarantee you that there's some shit going down energetically. And I'm not trying to blame it on that because, as much as I'd like to believe that on a collective, conscious, energetic level, we are all going through it, which is 100% true. But I also believe there's a reason why we all feel this way. And maybe it is because we're being presented with such a beautiful time to, like I said, for the past 40 fucking minutes, feel all this deeply buried shit that is trying to get our attention and our love. And I feel so grateful that this is what is happening because it feels so good to free this from my fucking body. And like, even last night, I was feeling anxious. I was thinking about a lot of things. And then I was like, I really should journal. And normally when I journal, I just like go at it, right? I just write and I mind dump. But I went on Pinterest and I wrote journaling prompts for this, the thing that I felt like I wanted to talk about of a certain aspect of my life. And I just started answering the questions and being super fucking honest with myself. And I don't know why I felt so much better afterwards. Because sometimes it's like I think we're looking for something to soothe us. So we either talk about it with someone else, we go watch a video, we go do something else. But sometimes it's just like, be fucking honest with yourself about how you feel about a situation or a relationship or whatever it is, right? So I journaled a bit and then I listened to my life script before going to bed. If you don't know what a life script is, get my ebook, How to Write a Successful Life Script. It's going to change your life. I listen to mine every night before I go to sleep. I listened to my live script and then I went to sleep. Woke up this morning, meditated for an hour, and I started doing EFT tapping again. And if you don't know what that is, I highly suggest you check it out because it basically I don't even know how to like explain it without like because I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not a professional in this at all, but I think it's certain points on your body, like in here and like next to your eye, your cheek, your chin, whatever. By tapping and repeating not affirmations, but words, it's like clearing the energy at a cellular level and like releasing it, and it reprograms your mind as well. And I remember doing this and it felt really good. So there's this guy on YouTube. His name is Brad Yates. I watch his tapping videos because I wouldn't really know how to, like, maybe I'll learn and I'll be able to, like, make my own sentences. But I just think it's great because he has such a big selection of videos. Like, I remember doing a video about like food, and I feel like it really transformed my perception on food after doing that. So, anyways, If you're feeling like shit, I am right there with you, and I am genuinely sending you the biggest hug. And I am hoping that you experience so much healing and releasing and letting go, because I think this is all we want. We just want to let go of the things that are heavy and we don't want to carry anymore, but we think we need to carry them to get, it's just, oh my God, so much shit. I love you. I hope you are doing amazing in your life, even if it might be feeling like shit and you're tired and you're not doing what you think you should be doing and you wish you had the energy to do it. What are the little things that you could do that would make you feel loved, that would make your inner child feel cared for? Little things. It is not about the big things or changing your life and completely 180ing it. So that is going to conclude today's episode of the podcast. I absolutely loved it and I could keep going, but I'm going to save it for the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening and watching and resonating. I love you and I hope you have an amazing week, day, night, weekend, whatever it is. I'll see you in my next episode, and you're always doing better than you think. I promise. Love you.